bust. And yes, the state took her milk. Okay? Now, I find this troubling. I actually, and you don't have to agree with me, but I've just done a little bit of research into raw milk. I believe raw milk is safer than the industrial processed milk they want me to drink.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
So, but whether it's true or not, this is offensive. And I mean, my personal experience, if I drink the industrial milk, if you gave me a big enough glass, like a tall glass, I would literally have an asthma attack. And I couldn't breathe. Now, I don't have asthma. I don't carry Ventolin. But when I drink industrial milk, I get sick. I can't breathe. But I can drink all the raw milk in the world, and it doesn't affect me. And my 13-year-old son's the same way. Can't drink the industrial milk, can drink raw milk. He just doesn't like milk, but he can drink it. Now, this is absolutely offensive, that raw milk is being treated like crystal meth. And it kind of got me thinking, I just want to see how we're doing here, is I live in BC, and if I want to inject heroin, we have Insight in Vancouver. It's a safe injection site. I can go there, and the public health nurses will actually give me clean needles, and I can inject heroin. And I'm just, kind of brainstorming here. Maybe we need to set up safe ingestion sites for raw milk. No, just hear me out. Because it's a place we can go without the police harassing us, and the public health nurses can give us clean glasses. Right? Like, I mean, it really could be something. Now, this is humorous just because it's so offensive, right? I'm going to ask you some questions. Please, I don't want anyone answering out loud, because I've got in the habit, I'll ask questions and some people will call out answers. But I actually want everyone to be able to think about the questions and answer in their head. So if you call out, you're actually, and the people around you can't, you're interrupting their thought process. So the first question is, what does it say about our state of freedom or our state of slavery when consenting adults cannot decide how they're going to nourish themselves? Okay, and you understand it says something. It says something about our state of freedom, or it says something about our state of slavery. Unless you're in complete denial or you've been drinking gallons of fluorinated water, it says something. And it's an uncomfortable question to answer in your mind. What does it say about our state of freedom or our state of slavery when educated adults cannot decide how to nourish their children? Okay, it says something about our state of freedom or our state of slavery. What does it say? Are you free when you can't decide how to nourish yourself? Are you free when you cannot decide how you're going to nourish your children? What does it say about our state of freedom or our state of slavery when, either you or your children are facing a health crisis and you can't decide how they're going to be treated? I mean, it says something about that. And, how on earth did we get here? Like in the area of natural health products, we all know we're losing products. How did we get here? I thought we lived in a democracy. Well, actually, I thought we lived in an elected autocracy. Look at our Constitution. But, still one where our elected autocrats would, listen to the will of the people and try and do what we want, right? That's why we tolerate it. Because we actually, if you don't believe that MPs are responsive to the public will, then, what are we doing? Right? Like, how are we supposed to live then if we can't believe that? But we had a rebellion over our access to natural health products. Many of you in this room were instrumental. In the mid-90s, Health Canada started targeting natural health products. Everyone got upset. And there was rebellion. There were rallies, there were lectures, there were phone calls, there were letter-writing campaigns. There was the petition, "Don't treat our foods as drugs." I was told by a parliamentary aide that more Canadians signed that petition than any other petition in Canadian history. Well, think about that. If that's true, that means that issue riled Canadians more than any other issue in our, 1867, 143 years of our history. I mean, that means as the citizens, we more clearly communicated on that issue through that petition than any other issue. There was so much pressure. Remember, the Minister of Health was trying to bring in some cost recovery regulations. There was a lawsuit to challenge it. They backed down, and Alan Rock asked the Standing Committee of Health, well, you tell the government how we should regulate natural health products. And there were wide consultations. I was told by the same parliamentary aide who told me about the petition that that was more inclusive as far as standing committee consultation than any other standing committee event in Canadian history. Whether that's true or not, nobody said that they didn't have the opportunity really to have input into the standing committee. And the message was clear. And here's one area where Health Canada and I agree. The Canadian public said they wanted increased access to natural health products. Key word on increased. So they don't want the same. Okay, Health Canada estimated we had 40 to 50,000 natural health products on the market. Everyone agrees, we communicated, we want increased access. Now, the United States, they had a citizen rebellion a couple of years before ours because the FDA was attacking natural health products, driving them from the market. Same thing happened. People rebelled because they want access. And they got the message loud and clear. We want increased access. You know what the United States did? They passed a law saying, oh, natural health products, now they call them dietary supplements, but exact same products. They said, hey, by law, these are foods, not drugs. By law, they're presumed to be safe. So the starting point is, they're presumed to be safe because the Congress looked at it, the US Senate looked at it and said, oh my gosh, these are safe. So let's presume them to be safe by law. And the FDA can only take them from the market if the FDA has evidence of harm. Well, that sounds like a way to increase access, doesn't it? And you know what it did? It increased access. So, obviously, Health Canada, seeing this successful rebellion south of the border, seeing the United States come out with a way of increasing access, what do? Do they class them as food? No. They come out with natural health product regulations. Well, we're a drug. Oh, okay. Well, at least they presumed them safe, didn't they? Oh, no, they didn't, did they? In fact, they come out with these regulations. If the manufacturers and distributors do nothing, every product has to be taken off the market because the starting point is they're all illegal. Now, if you want to increase access, Canadians are saying we want increased access, you don't make things illegal. They're presumed by law to be dangerous, opposite presumption of the same products in the US. They're presumed by law to be unsafe. And only those products where the manufacturers can go through what is proving to be a very expensive and onerous licensing process to try and convince Health Canada that their product is safe and effective, only those can remain. And it's led to some bizarre things. I was giving a lecture in Aurora earlier this week, and a manufacturer came up to me afterwards and said, you're not going to believe this. One of their products is parsley. They grind it up and put it in capsules. And they couldn't get through the licensing process because they can't prove it's safe. And so they've actually got postcards out now where they show, parsley as a spice in, a spice jar with a little check mark, legal. And then parsley that you'd buy in the produce section with a little check mark, legal. And then a picture of their caps and, illegal, unsafe. Isn't that surreal? But I'm just giving it to you as an example. Actually, most products, the manufacturer's not having trouble proving safety, but the problem with parsley is who's ever done a safety study in parsley? Right? So they can't find evidence to give to Health Canada that ground up parsley is safe. So, but the point is when you come out with regulations that basically make everything illegal and then you create barriers of entry to stay on the market, they can only, the only thing that can happen is you restrict access. So my main beef with the regulations is that Canadians demanded increased access because we're relying on these products, and we come out with regulations that can only act to restrict access, and we are going to lose. I started lecturing a few years ago, and I said we're going to lose, 3/4 of our natural health products, which just sounded, fantastic, and I think actually that's what's going to happen. So now some people just look at our licensing statistics And they say, well, we're not going to lose that many.